Well, there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a fine, happy, healthy, prosperous, abundant 2022 to you and your loved ones. It is great to be here on the very first day of 2022. And as promised, we have another series. The series is How to Handle Difficult People. We'll be having this series from today, which is January 1st, and we'll be going all the way through to January, basically January 7th, so that on January 8th, we will start with another series. So lots of great stuff happening. So if you are new to my series, is welcome. Lots of great stuff coming, including a great book coming out in a few months. And if you are coming back, well, welcome back. It is great to have old friends back again and to have you learn with me here. So, if you've ever had a challenge with somebody, maybe they've been a difficult person in your life, if that's ever happened to you, whether you're on Facebook, John C. Morris, your entrepreneur Facebook, LinkedIn Facebook, whether you're on my YouTube, John C. Morris, your entrepreneur channel, or my John C. Morris, your entrepreneur Twitch channel, if you've ever had some type of a difficult person in your life, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, a like, a support, an insight, a curious, depending on what platform you're on. Show me some love. And if you can resonate with that, why not comment below? What was the situation? You don't have to be specific, but just the general situation. Maybe it was at school, maybe it was at work, maybe it was at home, or maybe it was something you're working on. Like I was in the middle of this project with somebody, and this person was just so difficult, and everything I tried. Comment below. All right. You don't have to put anything in there that you don't want to include, but of course, we appreciate you do sharing information. Then tag some of your friends, your colleagues, and your associates. And then after the end of the stream, I would love you to share it out to all of them so they get some great value out of this. But you probably heard the question, how to handle difficult people, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. And one of the things that a lot of people always tell me, and it is the truth, is you need to be kind. Now, maybe somebody's really aggravating you, maybe they're putting you down. I don't care what it is. First thing you need to realize is you need to be kind and understand that you're not going to change them. Just have that premise in mind that you're not going to change them. But I got a surprise for you. When you change the way you look at things, we've heard this before from Dr. Wayne Dyer and Patanjali's, the things you look at change. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that could include, but not being limited to, other people changing their perceptions about you and how they act towards you. Of course, you want to be compassionate, right? And one of the things I always recommend doing, and this comes from Dr. Wayne Dyer, but also from a very good person who we know, which is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You want to be kind, you want to be loving, but what you want to do is you want to try to find a commonality. So maybe you were doing something. Let's take somebody local, maybe in your town or something. And for whatever reason, they're starting to get under your skin. And most people would call this politics. But really, you see a lot of people do this because they feel threatened. They feel threatened that either A, you're going to expose them for something, okay? Or they feel, you're going to make them look bad, or they feel that you're going to try to take over their position or something like that. So, what I always recommend when you get somebody, especially in politics, is you have to kind of pull back a little bit. Sometimes, as entrepreneurs, as business people, or even just good citizens that want to do right for our town or for our community, we have this overzealousness. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of times we get political leaders that feel intimidated, right? They don't really know where you're going. And sometimes you want to share your side about what's happening. However, they're just not willing to budge. Now, here's the thing. You can't live your life worrying about someone else, what someone else is going to think about you and what you're going to do. But what you have to do is you have to be polite, you have to be professional, you have to be cordial, and you have to realize that if they're not going to support you right now or they're not going to help you, don't hold that against them. Don't be negative. Because what I found is that if you can still be cordial with the person, okay, you're at least going to create environment where they may not be in love with talking with you, but they can at least stand you. And that might change down the road, right? Always treat them with respect. That is a real important one. Treat them with respect. Now, forget trying to control them. I've said this before. Don't try to control them. Just state your situation. And maybe you can add a little humor to it. Hey, Joe. Hey, Mike. I know you're head of XYZ, and I'm just a citizen of town, or I'm head of such and such. And I know, we haven't always seen eye to eye on things. And what I was hoping we could do starting in 2022 is that we could at least start to maybe find some common ground. I know you may not agree with everything I do. And I hope that you'll understand that I'm not trying to do anything to hurt you or to harm you, but I know you won't believe me on that. So I realize it's going to take some time for you to build some trust and respect with me. I'm okay with that. I just want to make you comfortable so that we could at least start to build that bridge. Would that be okay with you? And, they might say no. You say, I understand. And I just want to let you know that when you're ready to build that bridge, I'm here. And I'm hoping that you will be open to that someday. And you see, that's what's going to change things. Okay. Sometimes you can't reason with an unreasonable person. Okay. But there are techniques you can use. You can mirror their voice patterns. Um, okay. A lot of people call this verbal de-escalation. You may go through training in some situations where you've been taught how to diffuse a situation. Maybe it's in client services, and the person's coming in and they're yelling at you. And so, what you might have to do at first is not yell at them, but be at the same level. It's like, well, I can't believe these people do so well. And then you could start right out and say, look, I understand that you're real upset and I get this. And what we want to do is we want to try to help you. So I'm sorry that you've been having challenges. I'm here to listen to you. And then you can try to soften that. And then they're going to hear you a little bit. And so when you do that, they're at least going to know that you are, how can I say, on board with having a sincere intent to listen. You need to stay calm, but you do need to start at their level, a little bit higher, not yelling at them, but at that level. Like, I can't believe people are doing this. I can't believe what you're doing. Look, I understand you're real happy. I understand it's not going the way you want. And I understand you feel that I'm a bad guy. And I understand that this is not easy for any of us. And what I'm hoping to do is just come across from perspective of being non-judgmental and try to work with you and try to build some respect and integrity between us. Maybe there's a hidden need. Okay, the person really needs help. They need their problem solved. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Joe. I know you've had a bad experience with everyone else in our company. I'm going to own this challenge and I'm going to make sure that it gets resolved. I'm going to be your single point of contact and I'm going to take this personally to make sure it gets resolved. I'm not going to escalate up. I'm not going to send it to anybody else. I'm going to be the one that's going to handle it. Okay. And I'll make sure that if I have to talk to other people, that I stay involved the entire time. Okay. Don't demand things. Saying I understand usually makes things worse. Instead, tell them more things like, um, so sometimes people say, I understand. But what you want to try to do is say something like, look, I want to try to understand. If you could just spend a few moments with me to share what's going on so I can get a clearer picture of how I can help you. That's going to help. See, because if you put yourself in the premise of saying, "Oh, I know this," or "I know how to do this," or they're going to be upset because you really don't know what's going on. Okay. If you're with somebody in person, don't smile at them because most people are going to take that offensively, like you're trying to mock them. Okay. Don't be defensive. This is tough. You're probably not enjoying what's going on. And maybe they're saying nasty things to you. Maybe this is in a political situation. Or maybe you need this person to help you with the support of the town or other things. And you feel like other people are against you. Okay. But what you have to realize is that we don't need to rev up the emotionality on this. Okay. It's not going to get better by trying to become more powering, overpowering. Remember, it's not about you. So don't take what's going on personally. If they don't like you or they're not supporting or something, it's not about you. It is about the situation. Never come back with anger. Okay. Don't point fingers. Okay. As that shows disrespect. Use a low, calm, even a monotone voice if you can, and talk to the person. Okay. Don't argue. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything. You're just trying to find out a common thread. Keep some space between you and the other person. It'll make them feel more comfortable and not so pressured. If you say things like, "I'm sorry," or "I'm going to fix this," it can go a long way toward diffusing many situations. So maybe you have a person that calls client services and they're real upset with your challenges for somebody being able to fix your pipes or whatever it is, your plumbing. Mr. Johnson, I understand that you've been having some frustrations. I'm not going to tell you that I understand your situation. So I'm hoping that you can share with me what's going on so I can be the person that can help you. All I can say right now is I'm sorry for everything you went through. And I promise you that I'm here to listen to you. So if you'll share with me, and if it'd be okay if I take a few notes to make sure I don't miss anything, would that be okay? You're going to have them so like elated and they're going to want to tell you their story. Okay. Sometimes listening and letting that angry person vent might be just all you need to do. Okay. Okay. Um, Now, you have the right to be assertive too. So if they're being abusive to you, you can say, "Look, Mr. Johnson, I know that you're frustrated and I want to be respectful to you. And I hope you'll be respectful to me. The tone and the words you're giving toward me are making me feel comfortable. I want to help you. Please give me that chance." You have to be very delicate with this. Trust your instincts. Okay. Um, One response is not going to fit everything. After the situation is over, talk to someone about what happened. I talked to this client. I'm really trying to help him. Our client services staff did a terrible job. We were late on the appointments. We misquoted him. We put in parts. They didn't last. We came back. We charged him. He had just a mess. And I'm trying to deal with this. Make sure you diffuse your own stress. Okay. Um, it's normal for you to be stressed. It's not the time to discharge to them over the phone or in person. Go for a run. Go do something in another activity outside if you take your dog for a walk. But make sure the emotions don't become the stage for controlling what's going on. Okay. After the call, give yourself credit for getting through an uncomfortable situation. So let's role play another one. Maybe you're having a situation with maybe let's say it's somebody you're dating and it's just not going right, and you could say to the person, um, "Look, I know we're having challenges. This is obvious. I know I'm frustrated. I'm guessing you're frustrated, and I'm not going to tell you that I know what's bothering you 100%. I'm not going to tell you that because I personally don't know that. All right. Again, we keep getting people on here trying to send their information about their online stuff, and I've warned these people. They're being blocked again. We're not going to use them. Again, I don't want to say angry, but I get very disappointed that we get clowns out there that try to push in um, their crap. Okay. And again, our moderation team has been watching you. We have blocked you from being able to comment on the channel. Your feed is actually going into our box, but it's not hitting our live feed. So I just want to let you guys know that. We get a lot of these characters. They're spam bots, and they're people that they think that they're so smart by trying to shove something in, but they don't have the mentality to know what they're really doing. All right. But the thing is to not get angry with them, right? Because, maybe it makes them feel good that they're going to do that. Well, we're not going to get angry, but we are going to block you, and we are going to make sure your feed doesn't go anywhere because you're being disrespectful to myself, to my team, and to the viewers here. So we have a duty and obligation to block people like you. All right. So you got this date going on, and they say, look, I understand that our relationship hasn't been going very well. I know it's not working on our end. I'm gonna guess it's probably not working on your end either. I'm not gonna try to buffalo you and make you believe that I know what's going on because I don't. Thus, I'm hoping that maybe tonight we could just set aside our differences for a moment and just learn, what are we frustrated about? And would it be okay if I take a few notes? Because I want to hear what you're unhappy about. And based on that, I want the chance to fix that, if you'll let me. And then, if it would be okay, I would like to tell you about my life and some of the challenges I'm having. Yes, I think you're right. We have blocked them, they have been reported and stuff like that, and we have blocked them from our platform. They keep getting in other ways, so we are working on trying to make sure that they don't get in. There are a couple platforms that they actually can't get on because they have to be verified. But some of the general platforms, such as like Twitch, they can get through that a lot easier. The security is not as tight as Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. Those are a lot tighter. But I do thank you for the comment. And so when you do something like that, you're putting that person in a non-defensive spot. You see, I think a lot of times people want to have a conversation because they want to control the other person. They want to manipulate them. If that is your goal, just give up right now. Because even if you do control somebody, you're going to get egg in your face. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually you will. And you're going to have a lot harder job than saying, I'm sorry, because now you're going to come off as non credible. Let's take the political situation I was talking about. Now, when you get into these situations, and I know I had one a while back, and I went to see one of the head people because the person that I wanted to meet with, I knew they weren't going to talk with me at the moment. I went to see this head administrator, and I said, look, I want to take this opportunity to come in front of you and to apologize. He goes, John, you don't have to apologize for anything. I said, I want to apologize. I said, here's why. I have this unique zealousness and passion of trying to make everything great for everyone. Sometimes that comes across the wrong way. And I know that I can't change what happened in the past. Thus, I want to personally and professionally apologize to you and to the entire board for any miscommunication that happened because it was never meant to harm or to hurt or to control somebody. Okay. And I know that being in politics, everybody has a reputation. So they get scared. And so, what I'm asking today, if it would be okay, is to take the slate and just erase it and start from scratch. And if we could start from scratch, we can pretend that nothing ever happened in the past and start with a clean foot. And when I did this, they didn't know what to say. And they were like accepting of it. And I said, well, would you be sure to tell X, Y, and Z that I said this? And then I wanted to come back and speak to the board. And then I said to myself, you know what? That's not the right thing to do, because I already made my message. I already gave an outline. I gave my apology. What would going in front of the board do? It would make me look like the top man and like I was trying to control them. So I made this decision that I'm not going to go in front of the board, because that would be below the belt and it would kind of be disrespectful. So I handled it in a very quiet and private fashion. And after that happened, I don't want to say we all became great friends, but something changed. Something happened in the sense that when I started coming around them, they were not defensive. They weren't giving me everything I needed, but they weren't so defensive. So if you can, first of all, you can apologize for what you did wrong if you know what you did wrong, but you first got to know why the other person is upset. And if the other person is not talking to you, well, you need to find a mediator or you need to find somebody else. So if it was a relationship and that person is not agreeing to talk to you, maybe there's somebody else you can talk to. Maybe it's their best friend. And you can talk to the best friend and say, look, I know that you're such and such's best friend, and I don't want to get personal with you, but I'm sure you know what's been going on. And they'll say yes. And say, I don't want to put you in a bad spot. All I want to ask you to do is just to share with me one or two things. Either A, if I could get a meeting with such and such to learn what's really been troubling them so I can write it down and I can fix it. And then I could get half of that time to tell what I'm unhappy about. And they can honestly learn about what I'm going through. And they're going to be very open to this. You see, when you take yourself off the totem pole, like the big man on the totem pole, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about who's open to communication. So again, we've got a whole week about this, but dealing with difficult people is not easy. But the number one reason that dealing with difficult people is so hard is because the ego gets in the way. And it becomes this whole thing where I have to protect my ego. Now, that may not be the greatest thing, but this is why people shut down. So a lot of times you might say that you want to do something. I will tell you this: actions mean more than words to people. If you say, I'm sorry, that's great. But then if you change your actions and they start to see that, the most important thing is they have to view you as not being a threat. They have to not be uncomfortable around you. That's really important. Because if you're trying to express something where we're both, hey, maybe down the road, I might go back to this person and say, look, about a year ago, I had apologized. And, I'm trying to do everything best for everyone's concern. And I always do the best for everyone. I need your help in getting a meeting with XYZ, or I need your help in knowing how can I get your support so that we can kind of build some common ground. You see, that's the magic, ladies and gentlemen. So we got an entire week with how to deal with difficult people. This is just scratching the surface. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and it gives me great pride, pleasure, and honor to be with you this evening as well as every evening. And I think you're going to learn a lot with this series about how to deal with difficult people. If you got value out of it tonight, go to youtube.com, type in my name, John space E space Morley space serial entrepreneur, and look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. Below that, make the choice and click on the PayPal link to buy my team and I a cup of coffee or a glass of water. We'll be so grateful. With those pennies and those dollars, we'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, and new staff. and even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content. In 2022, let's be authentic, not just to ourselves, but to everyone else in life that we come in contact with. And realize that it's not about trying to control people, it's about trying to understand each other and make adaptations to ourselves so we can find more common ground. I hope you have a great night, and I'll be back tomorrow, January 2nd, Sunday, to continue the series of how to deal with difficult people. Have yourself a wonderful night, everyone. Take care.